What's going on, Port fans? Welcome back to another video on my channel. And today we're going to be going through the things I learned from the Aami series game against the Adelaide Crows, which was at Noarlunga yesterday afternoon in what was a pretty dominant performance by Port Adelaide across all four quarters in a 71-point win. So we'll be going through the things I learned and prepping for what's going to be a massive build-up to round one. So let's get straight into it. Let's kick it off with the first thing I learnt across the day. It wasn't so much the performance as a whole. It was more so I'm glad I'm not a selector for round one, because picking that best 22 going up against North Melbourne is going to be a very, very difficult decision to be making. And I'll tell you what, it's been like that for quite a while now, and even me trying to write down my best 22 for round one, I still can't pick 3 or 4 different players that should probably be making a debut or deserve an opportunity, but you just don't know, do you? Like, there's so many standout performances. Georgiadis is looking really, really good, and even know that probably Todd Marshall's going to come back in. It's one of those things where unfortunately someone's going to miss out purely on a structural basis, or a little bit better in form, or just how a team works best. And then you move down back and you've got about 10 players to pick from to fit into that back six. You know, you've got Tom Jonas, who's going to be the number one pick with DBJ, but then you've got to look at Hamish Hartlett. Didn't play against the Crows yesterday. Mackenzie didn't play with his corky that he had apparently, and he missed the game. So I'm not exactly sure how we're going to manoeuvre all these players around, because Aliir had such a dominant performance. Lockie Jones is the young talent that's looking really, really good. Miles Bergman has come out of nowhere and is really playing a dominant, a prominent role down back in the 2 games that we've had so far, and just the development of other players as well. Burton's looking sensational, so is Riley Bonner, and it's just so many key players that are going to be picked, and other youngsters or someone that probably deserves an opportunity is going to miss out in the 22. There's 22 spots, and you've got 30 odd that we're picking from that have really had a great pre-season and deserve an opportunity. So that's the biggest thing I've learned probably over the pre-season is good luck, selectors. Second thing I learned is KARL AMON is primed for a 2021 season. He's been building for a couple of years now. He's really starting to showcase what his potential is, and I've been one of the few people actually that stuck by him through the times of a lot of supporters and a lot of critics have come out and said that he shouldn't be playing, he should be trade him as bait, and I've always said that KARL AMON had something special about him ever since he came onto the scene in 2015. We know his backstory from when he was a kid, and he's just continually building into what is a fine young player, and playing a different role this year, predominantly on the wing, but he's looking at more centre bounce time. His left foot kick and his peripheral vision that he's developed across the last couple of years has really become his own strength, which was probably a weakness when a lot of people were criticising him. So I look forward to seeing what he's got to offer this year, and he's definitely showcasing glimpses in the pre-season. He's probably been one of the best consistent performers across this pre-season so far. So we'll come round one against North Melbourne at a fast Marvel Stadium. KARL AMON's going to be in his own element. I'm really looking forward to seeing what it's going to bring. The third thing that I learnt is goal kicking practice is going to be needed quite a bit, I think, leading up into round one. We've seen in the pre-season games so far, the internal trial, the practice matches against the Crows in both the SANFL and the AFL, and then the Aami series game on the weekend, and the Magpies against the Panthers on Thursday night. It is becoming a little bit of a worry that we're kicking so many points, and they've been simple set shots that probably you should convert at various stages when you are having a chance at that shot. But yesterday at Noarlunga it was pretty windy, and I think it's hard to really get a grasp on the direction of that wind. But overall, I think it is a little bit of concern. It has been a bit of a concern of ours in the past, and I hope it just doesn't come back to bite us again later down the track in those important moments. And I think overall, just developing that skill. We've seen Charlie Dixon has had a pretty good pre-season with the goal kicking. Aratia Fantasia, 3 goals 3 yesterday, and a couple of siders that he probably should have slotted through, and Motlop's terrible shank. It was a difficult angle, but to have that bad of a shank, he's not even going to touch it. That's a bit of a concern, but overall, I think that's probably one of the things we've got to clean up a bit. That's stood out as a negative throughout this pre-season. But overall, the performance has been fantastic to see, and we're really primed for a good start to the year. But goal kicking is probably one thing that we have to clean up a little bit. I wanted to have a specific moment for Alir. The bloke has been one of the favourite recruits that we've had come through the doors. A lot of people have been so positive about his arrival at Port Adelaide, and it's been great to see that so many people are welcoming him and embracing what he's brought to the club already. And he showcased that in glimpses last week in the practice match at Alberton, but yesterday at Noarlunga he really showed he is the interceptor that we needed. Jeremy McGovern is West Coast interceptor. There's been players in the past from different clubs. Nick Haynes from GWS is another one that really stands out as an intercept marker. Intercept marking is a key pillar of a backman's, in his bag of tricks. That's one of the things that we as defenders, and I say we because I'm a defender as well, but that's the one thing you really need to develop as part of your game, so you can really turn into that, not just that spoiling type defender that defends one-on-one. You're helping your teammate, you're setting him up, and he was really, really good at being able to not only defend the way that he did, but attack when he was intercepting, and he read the ball so well, and that's one of the key things you develop as you get older as a defender. And Alir is coming into his prime, and fringe player at Sydney, came in and out of the side and hasn't had that full cemented spot. And I think right now there's a lot of questions about whether or not he was on the fringe coming into the club with the Cleary, McKenzie and Jonas, but he's tall, he's athletic, he's got pace, he reads the ball so well. He slots straight into that back six. He's probably the next selected behind Jonas and Alir, Jonas and DBJ at the moment, because he just makes us look so different and so good at the same time. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what he brings this year, and he's definitely slotting in to my round one side because his performance yesterday was exceptional. And I think everyone learnt this last night after the game against the Crows. It was that Rosie will be having surgery on that foot. He's expected to return between rounds 2, 3, maybe in 4, depending on recovery, but he should be back within the first month of football, which is, in a way, it's precautionary, it's playing it safe, and we don't want to manage such a young talent through a full season of football with an injury that, if it breaks or if it causes any further damage, that long term it could be even worse for him. So he's better off getting the surgery now, playing it safe, and really getting in there, and we'll see majority of him throughout the season. But the first couple of games are pretty soft for Port Adelaide in terms of who we're playing. North Melbourne and Essendon should be almost walk-up wins. I'm not saying they're guaranteed, because you never know in AFL footy, but if we're setting a standard at Port Adelaide this year, is that we got to win these first two games and win quite well to set us up going into what's going to be a pretty difficult month after that against quality opposition. So Connor Rosie missing a softer draw in the start of the year to come back in when we need him probably most against the sides like West Coast, Richmond. We're going to have the showdown as well throughout there. So he's got to be a part of the bigger picture, not just thinking short term. So good choice in my opinion, but by God, even with that foot issue, he played like he had no troubles at all. And that foot is leaping fine because he took one of the greatest preseason marks you'll see as well. So wish Connor well throughout the surgery, but it's definitely going to be a right call for right now. And looking forward to seeing him back in the side as quickly. And that's it for fans. That is what I learned from the game that was before yesterday. Comment below with that. See if you can figure 22. But nonetheless, I look forward to round one. More Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Plenty more Port Adelaide coming your way across the season of 2021. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Anthony, and as always, I'm the pair.